За бүх багш нартаа өнөөдрийн энэ мэндийг хүргэе. За би яг одоо Английн Liverpool хотын Liverpool олон улсын хэлний коллеж дээр ирсэн байна. За тэгээд алдартай манай Pearson багштай яг одоо маш гоё сэдвүүдээр ярилцах гэж байна. Alright, Jim. Last time, thanks for sending great message, and we are happy to bring all English language teachers and some other administration of schools today. This is everybody is happy. The sunshine like Mongolian blue sky.
Absolutely.
So, can you introduce yourself?
Sure.
What's your name and how many years? How long have you been working in the language academy?
So my name's Jim Pearson. I am the Director of Studies here at Lila. So my job is to arrange all the academic side of the school, the teachers, the teaching methodologies, the courses and so on. I've been in the industry for about 25 years now, and of that I've worked at Lila for 22 years.
Wow. So first time when I see a video, I was surprised that because Mongolia has big influence by educational Pearson, and your name is Pearson.
I know.
Is it accident thing or is it?
Unfortunately, there's no relation between the academic group. I believe they're the largest publisher in the world. And unfortunately, I am not part of that family.
I think I thought that your parents could see the future and see.
I wish.
The one thing that changed my mind when I come to Liverpool. So I've been everywhere in the world, but English is becoming so much different, so quick transformation. When I come to Liverpool, I've seen lots of British, especially Scousers. So I'd like to ask that, that could be an interesting question if you know about what is Scouser mean? Is it ethnic group?
Essentially, it's a group of people. It actually, the origin of the word comes from food. So there was a very low cost meal years ago. It still exists now, and it's basically ground beef with gravy and vegetables, and that dish is called scouse. And that dish was unique to Liverpool. As a result of that, the people from Liverpool became known as Scousers. So that is a term specifically for people born and bred in Liverpool.
So do you want to say that food is specifically from Liverpool?
Yes. Scouse.
That sounds like the cheap food sounds like shepherd's pie.
It's very similar to shepherd's pie. It's very similar to stew. Shepherd's pie has the mashed potato on top. Scouse has the mashed potato on the side. Essentially, it's probably about the same.
Jim, by the way, what part of England are you from?
I'm actually from Yorkshire, which is on the opposite coast. So I moved to Liverpool about 24 years ago. Got a job at Lila, and it's just such an incredible place. The cost of living is much lower than places like London, Brighton in the south, but really friendly city, really warm, open city. So I came here to visit, and I never left.
And why do you come to Liverpool?
Originally, I just came to visit a friend. So I had a friend who moved here, and then he'd already got to know a circle of friends himself, so I just came to visit a few times, decided that I really liked the atmosphere, the place. I'd already met Leanne and Victoria, who own Lila, and they said, if you come here permanently, there's a job for you. So I was actually working in the building trade at the time, so I had my teaching qualification, but as soon as I met them and the offer of a job, I really loved the city, I decided to move.
And I would like to ask you, what's your real background? Is it linguistic way or is it educational?
So primarily I got into this through linguistics. So my real passion was the study of, not so much the study of language, but the study of language acquisition. So learning how people acquire a language and almost comparing it to when we learn a language as a child. So our first language acquisition, and we look at kind of the comparisons we can draw and the other ideas of how best to build on and learn a language ourselves. So my primary interest, I've always enjoyed the analytics of grammar, but really my passion was on how people learn and how best to facilitate that.
And that might be a very interesting question for audiences. And so you are native speaker.
Yes.
How easy to be qualified English language teacher? Because this is your mother language.
Yeah, but I think there's a common mistake that your qualification for being an English teacher is that you speak English. Your qualification for being a French, German teacher is that you speak French or German. So we're also a teacher training centre, as you know. We run the CELTA course, and over the last 15-20 years it's gone from 80% native English speakers to probably 50% native English speakers, some courses even fewer than that. There's a lot of methodology and direction in how to teach English. So what we tend to see is our non-native English speakers have almost a better understanding of English language in grammar. So we have our native speakers who have that implicit knowledge, that they know it without knowing how they know it. Our non-native English teachers have analysed the language and can break it down a lot more simply, and maybe the native speakers know some of the real nuances that the non-native speakers know. So it becomes a real team effort and a real teamwork, but yeah, there's a lot to be gained from native and non-native English teaching, working as a team, all trying to achieve the same things.
A lot of English language teachers would love to ask this question. Do you love your job?
I absolutely adore my job. As I say, I've been here for 22 years. I started off as an English teacher, and then I became senior teacher, teacher trainer, assistant director of studies, director of studies, and the job roles changed over the years. They don't really let me in the classroom anymore, but I adore the job. I love meeting people from all around the world. I get to learn snippets of languages, so you'll have to teach me some Mongolian language before you leave.
So when somebody is asking you to fill out the application, the question would be like, how many languages do you speak? And what would you fill out?
So I would say that I don't speak any languages perfectly, but I speak reasonably good French. I have reasonably good Spanish. I can understand Portuguese and Italian, and I speak some Thai language and a little bit of Bahasa Indonesian language too.
And okay, so we can have a nice, interesting thing that I would like to ask. What would be the 5 interesting British words that you cannot find from textbook? It can be interjections.
Okay. So one of my favourite English words is the word onomatopoeia. Do you know the word?
Ah.
It's a strange word, and it just sounds
Did you say
beautiful to me.
onomatopoeia?
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
And it's the sound that we write that creates a sound. For example, bang or boom, etc. or ha ha ha. And so it's words that we've created to describe a sound. Onomatopoeia, beautiful word. In Liverpool is famous for its own language. So if something is very good in Liverpool, it's boss.
Oh, I've heard that.
So you might hear
boss.
that one, yeah.
So that means
something's really good.
good.
So if another word in the north for food is scran. S-C-R-A-N, scran.
Scran.
So if you've got really good food, you could say, this scran is boss.
Boss. Oh my God! Last couple of days, I've been joining and having a drop beer of Guinness, and I've seen lots of people talking. I was disappointed that some of the words that I cannot catch. So
it's perfectly normal. As I say, I'm from Yorkshire, and I remember when I'd probably been in Liverpool a couple of years by this stage, and I was still having difficulty in understanding some Scousers. I remember sitting on the bus one time thinking, and there was two people behind me, and I was thinking, I wonder where they're from, and I couldn't really work out. I thought maybe they were Arabic or something like that, and then I heard someone go, "Oh, boss that, mate," and I thought, oh my goodness, they're from Liverpool, and I hadn't realised the entire time. So it is quite a strong accent here.
all right. So and what is the first one? Did you say?
So onomatopoeia is my favourite word.
Boss.
Boss for very good. Scran
Scran.
for food.
And what would be two?
Two more. You're putting me on the spot now. Well, from Yorkshire, so again, a very, very colloquial, because I'm from Yorkshire, but when people say hello to each other, or even if they're surprised or something like that, we say, "Hey up."
A.
A up. So A-Y.
A-Y.
U-P. A up.
Okay. A.
A up. And it's something we say when we're surprised. Hey up. I didn't expect to see you. Or it's somewhere we say hello. Hey up. So again, a couple of strange words, not used so much these days, and those ones not in Liverpool, they're from Yorkshire.
All right.
And one more. Ooh, you're putting me on the spot. Well, it's probably got to be England's favourite drink is tea. And we used to say a cup of tea, and then that became a cuppa tea, and then we dropped the tea altogether, and now we just say, would you like a cuppa?
Cuppa.
A cuppa, C-U-P-P-A, and it means,
wow.
Would you like a cup of tea? A cuppa.
Wow, that sounds good. And as an language expert, are you happy that this language is becoming much more like becoming different types of English, like Konglish and Singlish and Konglish.
So
what would you think that is it the better way, is it good way, or is it?
I think what's important is that English doesn't belong to the English. So English as a language, as a lingua franca, is used globally. It's the language of commerce, the language of media, the language of communication. And as that grows, English from England is changing, but then it's not just changing, it's evolving. And I think it's important to look at it in that way. With the Microsoft, with Hollywood, Apple, a lot of the Americanisms come to the UK, but as a global language, Singlish, Hinglish, Konglish, all of the different varieties, for me, I think that's positive, because what that is doing is increasing the ability to communicate non-native English speaker to non-native English speaker. So, and as a language of a global language, that's what we want. We're trying to create a simplified version, almost a more accessible version of English where people can communicate effectively. The words that I'm using, like boss and scran and up and things, they will always exist in the UK, but they're going to be very localized and very specialized to smaller areas. As a language, English, as I say, it doesn't belong to the English, it belongs to the globe. And as a result of that, we're seeing progression and development in the language. For me personally, I think that's a good thing.
All right, so recent years, over some decades, I would like to say that different type of teachers are qualified to be English teacher, from even Generation Z and X and Y.
Mm-hmm.
As yourself, do you still learn new things from young generation teachers?
Absolutely, yeah.
What would it be?
So, I did my teacher training in 2002, so we're talking 24 years ago, 25 years ago. And even the methodologies presented to me on my teacher training courses have changed somewhat. There's a more communicative approach and a more mediation is involved. So whereas 20 years ago, everyone in one class would be almost exactly the same level, there's more fluidity, there's more difference between people's levels, because the world isn't categorized into B2, B1 plus, B1. The world has a variety of speakers, and I think what's important these days is that the tasks that we do in the classroom, the exercises that we do, need to be authentic. They need to replicate what happens in the real world. In the real world, we don't circle answer A, answer B, answer C. In the real world, we communicate, and I think that's what some of the younger teachers have brought to me, is this methodology where mistakes are a good thing, and we can look at adapting and changing if necessary, but really the goal is communicating from one person to another. And the more communication we have in the world, the better the world will be.
What would be the best advice for English language teachers, would you say, if they need to be developing themselves? So what would be the number one advice?
The number one most important piece of advice is to be accepting of change. I think as a 51-year-old man who's been teaching for half of his life, it's very easy to stick with the methodologies and the ways that I've known my whole teaching life. When there are new people, younger people with bright ideas, really intelligent people coming through the ranks of university and CELTA courses and what have you, and someone of my age, of my experience, it's very easy to get stuck in the ways that we've always done things. And what is very important, I think, for existing teachers and new teachers is be aware of new methods, be willing to try out new things. Just because something that you know works doesn't mean that something else might not work better. So it's all about the student. People learn in different ways. I think we tend to teach in a way that appeals to us and our way of learning, but of course we're not the ones learning, we're the ones teaching. So, and this is where we talk about language acquisition. I think we've always spoken about teaching and learning, but now we talk about acquiring language and a teacher facilitating that language acquisition. It kind of sounds like jargon, but the message is, you know, the learning comes from the learner. And if you help that learner learn, then they will become a better learner, a better user of English. But that might involve adapting your style and methods and techniques to suit the modern day learner.
So we got a couple of questions. I'm interested in asking you. Can English language teachers, like second language country teachers, can they be successful teacher without understanding culture?
That's an excellent question. I mean, I think culture is hugely significant to language acquisition and language learning. One of the first questions that we ask our students is, what do you want English for? What are you trying to achieve? Now, we set goals with our students, so we look on day one, they'll create their goals going forward, so that this is the reason I'm learning English, this is what I'm trying to achieve, and then we'll look at how we can break down the obstacles or how they can overcome the obstacles in order to achieve those goals. And a lot of those goals tend to be culturally related. I want to do it because I want a job with an English speaking side to it. I want to travel to an English speaking country. I want to be able to watch American films. You know, there's a million reasons why somebody wants to learn English. And even the younger ones at school who may not necessarily choose to learn English. They've been told by the government, by the school, by the parents that they have to learn English. But there are still positive outcomes from that. So I think adopting the culture of what you're trying to learn is hugely important and helps become a much more successful language learner ultimately.
Wow, okay. You must be gained so much experience of teaching to different national people. What nationality students were, you know, weird or different feeling for you?
So, I mean, every learner is different, and I tend not to categorize people by their nationality, but more by their personal style. So there are certain traits that we see that certain parts of the globe, their teaching tends to be a little bit more teacher-centered, so the teacher will be presenting ideas, whilst in other parts it's more bringing from the students. So there are certainly cultural traits for these things, but in my opinion, it's more about the individual than the nationality, certainly. But there are certainly some traits that are common to certain areas. But I think it's key just to expose people to different styles of learning English, different styles of teaching English. And we're really fortunate in this day and age that, you know, English as a second language is 100 plus years old. You know, people have been learning it for very different reasons. It could have been global conflict or finance or whatever. But as a result of the 100 plus years of people learning English as a second language, we're able to pick and choose from so many different methodologies that suit the teacher and the learner. So hopefully these days it's less easy to identify where someone's from their teaching style, and because they're beginning to adopt new methods and new styles based on what is available to them.
And the final one would be, would you recommend English language teachers they should go to abroad, or they can be good teacher in own country?
And I think there's some incredible teachers in their own country, 100%. Not everyone has the opportunity to travel abroad. I think if people do have that opportunity, then 100% I would advise it. However, I think there are some absolutely phenomenal teachers in all around the world who do an excellent job without having that opportunity. When you are given that opportunity to travel, then you really immerse yourself in the language, in the culture, and you see the different methodologies in action in the different countries. So I would always advise, yes, if that opportunity is given to you, absolutely take it and make the most of it. Unfortunately, in this world, not everyone will have that opportunity, and thankfully, governments around the world are investing in their teachers and teaching as an industry. So we're seeing much greater awareness of different teaching methodologies, and that the quality of teaching globally is of a much higher standard than it was even 20 years ago.
All right, so thank you for your time, and thanks for sharing all the great answers and great knowledge for everyone.
Thank you very much.
За тэгэхээр манайха багш нараа маш олон гоё сонирхолтой асуултуудыг яг одоо Английн Liverpool хотноос Лайла коллежоос үргэлжлээ. Тэгээд манай сургалт хариуцсан захирлч Pearson багштай ярилцлаа. Тэгээд бүгдээрээ яг санал хүсэл юмнуудаа бичээрэй. Тэгээд дараагийн уулзалтаар уулзцгаая. Bye bye.
Bye bye.